Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Portal Season 2024. This is episode number 8 of this fine show. My name is Jay Tate. I'm the publisher / Commodore at auburnsports.com, which I'm going to get this right one of these days, which you can see right here. And you know what we like to do in this show. We like to get to the news and get through the news and make it quickly. I know you guys are, got things going on in your life, and I try to keep it quick because sometimes these videos, not necessarily mine, but others, just get a little rambly and a little long-winded. I do want to encourage anyone, if you guys are enjoying the content, please consider subscribing to our channel, and it would mean a lot to me if you would do that. Here we go, getting on to the business at hand. Mason Murphy has signed on. He has added himself to the Auburn roster, coming in from USC. Played some different positions, played some left tackle, played some right tackle, and has played a little bit of guard in his career. But at Auburn, he's going to be slotting in at right tackle is the expectation there. 6'5", 315, has the the perfect body you're looking for a college outside tackle. Well, I guess you can't really be an inside tackle, can you? Started 12 games last season at USC with a 55.7 grade, so that is not a sexy number. You would expect your offensive lineman to be a little bit better, and I have to be honest with you, that's a cautionary tale for me. This is approximately the kind of numbers we saw from Percy Lewis when Auburn picked him up off the portal from Mississippi State last year. And you guys remember Percy Lewis wasn't very helpful this past season. And listen, Mason Murphy and Percy Lewis are not brothers. They've never trained together, and it's not fair to take one kid and say, oh, this is what happened with this kid. That's what will happen to you. He is his own man. But I'm going to have to keep my expectations a little bit low. And when it comes time a little bit later in the show to assess the players that Auburn has signed, I've got to be realistic about it. He is from Riverside, CALIF, a town that I have been to many times. It's near Los Angeles, but it's on the other side of the Santa Ana Mountains. And he was a 4-star recruit in the 21 class. No mistake as to why he was a big-time recruit. He looks the part. And I think when he's out there at a camp, he looks like the Greek god of offensive linemen. I just think that he's had a hard time kind of transitioning into the physicality. Not necessarily that he's wimpy or anything like that. It's just you have to kind of learn how to make it work. Yeah, there's some dark arts that go along with playing tackle in the top leagues in college football and the NFL, and so you have to kind of learn that. And I think he's learning that. He'll learn to get a little bit more violent, I think, when he spends some time with Jake Thornton. That'll be good. Also, before we get any further, the Auburn top needs box, which you see there on the left, we changed that. We had a suggestion, I think, from T-Roy Tiger on the bunker. I can't remember exactly who it was, but anyway, they said we ought to tick them off as Auburn adds to, addresses its needs. So now that Auburn has 2 quarterbacks, Jackson Arnold and Ashton Daniels, they have the left tackle, Xavier Chaplin, and now they have the running back, Darrell Robinson. So they're working their way through. We haven't seen a lot of action at nose guard. They talked to the kid from Western Kentucky, and that's really pretty much it. I think Clev Lubin from Coastal Carolina is the top choice at Buck. I'm surprised they haven't gotten that one announced yet because I think Auburn's got a really good shot at that one. DT has been I haven't seen a lot of pursuit there, and wide receiver we'll get to a little bit. So now that Mason Murphy is on board, we adjust our Portal Edition grades. Most of this was already done. You've seen it on the previous shows, but we have added Xavier Chaplin. I had to add him now because I left him off inadvertently. I don't know. Sometimes, guys, my age gets to me. I'm 52. Anyway, I did add Xavier Chaplin. He's a B+ for me. I was tempted to go A- with him. Again, one of the great things about him, looking at his grades and the stuff that he did at Virginia Tech, he either had a solid game or a good game. You never had to worry about a disastrous game where he was giving up a lot of pressures and sacks. That's just not him. So a consistent left tackle is a huge, huge plus for Auburn. I just didn't know if he's like an all-conference type player. I don't want to give someone an A unless I feel like they are they've got a shot to be an all-conference player. I'm just not sure that he is. But a B+ for Xavier Chaplin. I like him a lot. We added Mason Murphy. I'm giving him a C at this point. To me, he looks just like an okay choice over there. Maybe they're going to bring somebody else in to compete with him, or maybe they're thinking about Dylan Wade out there. I don't know. There's different ideas. But, that one's a little bit confusing to me. I mean, it's good to add depth, particularly experience depth, but I'm just not sure how good Mason Murphy is. On to the young men who are on campus today. They've got 2 visitors today. Horatio Fields, wide receiver from Wake Forest, 6'3", 205. An interesting story in that he signed with Wake Forest in the 2020 class, but really didn't make an impact on the varsity until 2024. It took him a long time to get going. 2-star recruit, played at New Manchester, a high school in Douglasville, Georgia, and worked his way up. Basically last year, he was just a backup. Prior to that, he was just a developmental player. And then this year, he kind of broke out a little bit. 39 catches, 463, 4 touchdowns. A 68.3 grade from PFF is solid for a wide receiver. Played X, played Z, didn't play hardly any slot. You wouldn't at 6'3", right? One thing I like about him a lot, 5% drop percentage. That's good. That's really good. He had 2 drops all year. He was targeted like 65 times and only had 2 drops, and that's good. When you get the ball to him, he catches it. One thing that's a little bit alarming is 2.5 yak yards per catch. That's low. I felt like Cam Coleman's number this past season was a little low. I felt like he would break out a little bit more after he caught the ball. Cam Coleman was 3.5 yak, and Dre, I think, was 6.5 yak per catch. Or 5. It's a 5 or 6 range. And, Dre's really good at that. So it kind of gives me an idea that Horatio is going to be a possession receiver, kind of like Camden Brown, but maybe better. I definitely think he's faster than Cam Brown, but he's a guy that should be able to win some aerial duels for you, and I think he'll just compete probably at Z receiver if he comes to Auburn with Perry. I think Perry will have that Z receiver spot locked down, and at X, I think it's going to be Cam Coleman and maybe C.J. Daniels if he comes in. And at slot, that would be very interesting. There's still some work to be done at slot, particularly if Singleton jumps on, but that's for another day. Another guy who's here is Xavier Atkins. This one really, really surprises me. 6'0". He was listed as 6'1" in recruiting, but LSU listed him at 6 feet even, 210 pounds, playing outside linebacker. Played in 5 games last year, just 31 snaps, so he's basically a developmental player. 45.2 grade from PFF. I don't really put a lot of weight into that because, 31 snaps, and I think he had 2 games where he had at least 10 snaps. That's just not. You go into a game and you're cold and you've got 3 snaps. You can't even really grade that. So to me, the grade doesn't matter. It is significant to me that he was the lowest graded LSU defender this entire past season. It's not like I'm sitting here going to discount the kid for that because, again, it's only 31 snaps, but you'd like to see him do something a little bit better. He obviously feels like he was being utilized incorrectly. And in recruiting, he decommitted twice from LSU, and then he ended up signing with them. And now he's gone after 1 year. It just seems like his relationship with LSU was fractious, to put it nicely. He's a young man who grew up in the state of Louisiana. He actually went to his senior year of high school outside of Houston. But he's really a Louisiana boy, and my guess is that, he just grew up idolizing LSU, and even though it didn't make sense for him to go there, he went there, and it didn't work out. So it's really hard for me to assess how good of a pickup this could be for Auburn. This is probably somebody that Durkin recruited when he was at Texas A&M. The kid was in Houston at the time, and maybe he just really liked him and flashed him, saw him flashing in a camp or in a game or something like that and said, I want to keep an eye on that kid and might as well just stow him. If I have a chance to get a hold of him, let's just see what happens. So Xavier Atkins is here, and we'll see how that goes down. One of the things we've been doing on YouTube is every day I've been putting up a poll, just kind of canvassing the community to see what they think about different things. Yesterday's question was about, of the 3 guys who signed yesterday on Monday, which one are you most excited about? And it looked like the overwhelming majority here was Ryan Strader, the cornerback from Miami, Ohio. That is a decision or a choice there in the poll that I hardly endorse. I would have voted that for sure. A little bit of support for Tay Seymour, probably some folks who know him, coming from Georgia Tech. To me, he's a little bit of a developmental player, but he could be a very good one. They played him a bunch at Georgia Tech this year. Maybe it's a situation where, you buy a car and it depreciates badly in the first year, and then somebody else buys it, and they don't have to worry about the depreciation. Maybe this will be a big plus for Auburn, where they can plug him in at safety, maybe as a backup safety, and they say, hey, you've already got 600 snaps under your belt. You won't make as many mistakes this time around. I like it. I think that's a good idea. Ashton Daniels, the quarterback from Stanford, is going to be coming in here as a QB2. I had somebody in the Rivals Network I've known for a while text me yesterday and say, is Auburn going to cross-train Ashton Daniels to play another position? Because he sure as hell ain't playing quarterback. No, he's going to play quarterback at Auburn. He's just going to be QB2. And listen, guys, the whole story is this. Jackson Arnold coming in from Oklahoma, that is Hugh's guy. Hugh said, that's the guy I want. Help me get him. NIL got done. They got him. Everything's riding on Jackson Arnold. And if it's on Ashton Daniels, you're just hoping for a miracle. Let's be honest about it. Anyway, the polls, we're doing those once a day. If you guys want to check them out and vote, I'm definitely going to feature them on the show as we move forward. The Beast List, which we love, it's a fan favorite. Not really. But anyway, the Beast List just changed a little bit. I moved Horatio Fields into the 9 spot, and I bumped Phoenix Jackson out. The linebacker from Fresno State, he signed or committed to Baylor today. I guess he wanted to go to Texas. I don't know. So took him off and added Horatio Fields at 9. To me, I would take C.J. Daniels ahead of him, and I definitely think Eric Singleton would be a better slot receiver than Horatio Fields would be a Z, but I still like Fields, and I think he's got a spot on this team if that is something that he would be interested in doing. So there you go. Made a few adjustments again to the Auburn top targets or top needs box. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's a little easier to understand what's going on there. Appreciate the suggestions that come in, and appreciate you guys watching our shows. Means a lot to me. Kind of started these up as portal season got real crazy, and I just, kind of give a nice, easy, quick summary. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Again, if you enjoy the channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, and it makes me feel good. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. See ya.